After triumphing before the troops, the praetors Clodius Garbo and Publius Varinius, commanding over 70,000 men, it was Spartacus's turn to plan the next steps in his revolt. However, unlike what might be expected, Spartacus's troops were far more disorganized and decentralized than a conventional army, making their actions unpredictable. In certain situations, this unpredictability became even more pronounced after the main leaders of the rebellion, Spartacus and Crixus, began to disagree. Historians argue that the primary reasons for this disagreement were their strategic outlooks. Spartacus likely wanted to lead his troops north into the Italian territory, aiming to cross the Alps and head towards Gaul or Gaia, signaling his desire to end hostilities. However, historical records indicate that Crixus strongly opposed this strategy, preferring direct advancement against Rome while continuing to loot and plunder the valuable regions of southern Italy. This interpretation is largely based on the accounts left by the historian and poet Publius, who documented Spartacus's advances against the regions of Tarentum and Metapontum, geographically distant from where Spartacus's troops were based and recruited. Such distant attacks, according to Florus, indicated the existence of two factions within the rebel troops. Additionally, Publius informs us about an attack by Lucius Ganius, who at one point advanced against Crixus's troops, numbering just over 30,000 men. Plutarch also discusses this possible division among the rebel troops, noting in his writings that they were divided between those who desired freedom and those who wanted to fight for wealth and vengeance against Rome. Some authors suggest that one of the main catalysts for this division among the rebels was the death of Enomaus, who led men alongside Spartacus and Crixus, but died during numerous battles against Roman troops. Nevertheless, despite disagreements, the majority of the men still followed Spartacus's leadership. Around the spring of 72 BC, the rebel troops began to move, leaving their winter camps and heading north. However, the Romans were wary of the constant looting and acts of vandalism committed by Spartacus and his men. Therefore, the Senate convened to take action against them. At this moment, the consuls Publius Valerius and Gnaeus Cornelius Lentulus convened a large number of soldiers and marched into battle. Meanwhile, Spartacus's forces, too large to march as a single troop, were divided, with Crixus commanding one part and Spartacus leading the others in an attempt to cross the Apennines, allowing their followers to return home. Aware of this division among the rebels, the Romans decided to attack the two troops separately, with Publius advancing against Crixus's forces and Gnaeus heading towards the men led by Spartacus. Initially, Publius achieved extraordinary success in his advance, quickly defeating more than 2/3 of the forces under Crixus's command, including Crixus himself near Mount Garganus. Meanwhile, Spartacus led the remaining rebels northward. Upon reaching the river Po, they avoided direct confrontations. Despite their numerical superiority, Spartacus's army lacked the maneuverability of well-trained Roman soldiers, placing them at a disadvantage against the advancing army of Gnaeus from the north and the rapid approach of the other consul from the south. Spartacus found himself cornered between the two forces. However, against all expectations, he managed to defeat first one army and then the other. The manner in which Spartacus achieved this surprising victory remains a mystery, as humiliated Romans kept details of the event secret. After his victory, Spartacus decided to honor the memory of his former ally, Crixus, by ordering the sacrifice of 300 Roman prisoners in his honor. In an act of revenge against the Romans, Spartacus ordered the remaining prisoners to fight for the entertainment of his troops as gladiators. Publius, the writer, recorded that Spartacus's men forced the Romans to fight each other in funeral pyres of their fallen officers, as if seeking to erase all their past dishonor. Following this event, Spartacus ordered his men to destroy all wagons and supplies they could not use and resumed the march of his troops, now numbering an impressive 120,000 infantry soldiers and an unknown number of cavalry, with more volunteers joining them every day. The exact destination of Spartacus's forces remains uncertain, with some authors suggesting their initial objective was to advance against the city of Rome, while others claim they aimed to reposition themselves, awaiting the next attacks and battles they would face. In early 71 BC, for unknown reasons, Spartacus's forces moved further south. Observing these movements, Rome decided to attack once again, sending not one but two armies to destroy Spartacus and his men. Once again, however, they were completely defeated by the rebels. According to Appian's history, the war had already lasted 3 years and was causing great concern among the Romans. Initially ridiculed and considered trivial because it was against gladiators, it became deeply humiliating for the powerful Roman Republic, which had brought practically all its adversaries to their knees, but failed to defeat a band of slaves and gladiators. This situation needed to end quickly. It was decided that the leadership of Publius and Gnaeus had been weak and ineffective, so they were summarily retired from their prestigious positions in the Roman Senate. However, there was a serious problem. Spartacus had caused such fear among the Roman elites and had already defeated so many prestigious warriors that no one wanted to take command against him. Moreover, there was widespread distrust among the Romans that the consuls could finally defeat Spartacus, who was now in his 3rd year of fighting for freedom. The man who would lead the effort to quell Spartacus's revolt had to have great financial, military, and political capabilities, as without these, he would never be able to accomplish this difficult task. Such a man was found. His name was Marcus Licinius Crassus, a powerful figure in the Roman elite, the richest man in the entire republic, and an experienced commander of military units, having previously served under the General Sulla in 82 BC. Crassus began mobilizing a large army capable of finally putting an end to the rebellion. We will learn more about the final battle between Crassus and Spartacus in the next video of this series. For now, I suggest watching this incredible documentary on the civil war between Mark Antony and Augustus that marked the beginning of the Roman Empire